Hey, how's it going, YouTube? So, this is going to be part 4 on the revolver modeling tutorial for Maya into Unity. In this tutorial, we're going to continue working more with the texture maps and continue from there. So, yeah, I'm just going to get started. Where I left off yesterday is I had finished the handle right here. Now, you can actually make this curve upwards and follow that contour. I'm not going to do that because, you know, that's how I roll. So, is what I need to do, you could use this as a baseline texture map. That's completely alright to do, but I actually want this metal to match over here. And there's a few ways we can do this. I also need to merge all these layers together because, wow, Jimmie, you are terrible. I know I am. That is awesome. Alright, so what I want to do is I actually want to select just the metal. And the way you can do that is Photoshop has this really cool brush tool up here. Basically just kind of like click in this area and grab all this, as I like to call, crap. There we go. Go ahead and select them here. Okay, the crap has been grabbed. And zoom in right here. I'm going to grab this crap as well. My bad. So, you need to make sure you have this selected up here, because what was going on down here is I was actually deselecting what I wanted, and I need to actually select it. So, we're going to select these in here. Just want to make sure I have all of this selected. I don't want to leave out any metal at all. Leaving out metal is a very bad thing. So, select the trigger guard. Come on, Photoshop, you can do it! Go down here, we're going to select all of this fun stuff. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, as of right now, I have no idea what is and is not selected. I'm just kind of like guessing at this point because of the way that these lines are kind of going through here. Like, what is this? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to increase the size. There we go. And then we'll add there. Add there. And the reason why you want to try and make sure all these points are selected, because if they're not, is what's going to end up happening is when we change, there we go, when we change the look of this, you're going to select these little spots. I'm actually trying to prevent that, so I'm trying to get as much selected as possible. And I could do the exact same thing I did last night for like some of these small spots that aren't selected, and I'll probably have to end up doing that for the fine-tuning. But if they're not selected, then we're going to have like these light gray areas, and basically it's just going to look off. So I'm actually going to copy this layer. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to copy that layer, I'm going to move it to the top, and I'm actually going to copy this layer. First I'm going to select it, and Control-CV, and this layer I'm going to move it one lower. Let's see, right here. So I'm going to use this to kind of, I guess, judge. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm going to use it to kind of judge where I'm at. So, I'm going to turn those layers off. So now, for this one, I need to go ahead and, so I'm going to move this up one. There we go. Because, yeah. So, the reason why I move these, because whenever I create a hue with saturation, whatever is, here, I'll just do it right now, and I'll just show you the real easy way. So I'm just going to hit colorize. Now, as you can see, this says colorize that, and this stays the same, but if I move this up here, it will actually colorize everything, and that's why I'm actually setting layer 3 and layer 4 down towards the bottom. I'm putting hue and saturation right over here. So I'm going to, really? see. Where did my properties tab go? Okay, so I'm going to select the color wheel, and actually I need to move this over so I can see what I'm doing right here. So I'm going to turn off colorize, and I'm actually going to make this a little bit darker. I might need to still colorize it. Yeah, I'm going to have to colorize it. So that's not a problem. Basically, I'll just move this over to about here, and we're going to have to give this a slight tone to it. I'm going to say it's probably more of a, I'm going to think probably more of a brown color. You don't want to crank this up anymore, but you want to have a little bit of color. I'm going to go down here, and that sucks. That like really sucks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off for the time being. I'm actually going to add a levels to it. See if I can kind of tweak it right about here. I might be able to, I might not be able to. I don't know. Trying to give it that nice metal look. So let's compare this. I know it doesn't quite match this down here, and I'll... Oops. There we go. So that actually looks pretty close. Let me go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this layer. And then what I'm going to do is on this layer, as it's selected, I'm going to delete this section, and then right here I'm going to delete this section, and I'm just going to move this down here, see how close that is. So actually I think that might be close enough. Either way, I'm rolling with it. So I can go ahead and delete this layer right here. I don't really need it anymore. There we go. And that is layer 4. Okay, so I can go ahead and delete layer 4. Yes. Alright, so you can tweak this a little bit more. Why did I just do that? So you can tweak this just a little bit more and get the look that you desire. I think that'll do real nicely. So after we have done that, we can go ahead and take these two, we can go ahead and merge these layers, and after the layers have been merged, we can move these up, and there we go. Now this is a little bit darker than this. I'm just going to click on this. I'm going to change the levels just a little bit. And the whole purpose of this is this way these two kind of match. Once again, it's not going to be exact. It's going to be here somewhere. I'm just trying to figure out what levels I need to really tweak. Okay, there we go. And then we'll go into hue and saturation. Probably don't want to do a colorize. Maybe I do, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. No, because I'm doing the handle, so that actually wouldn't be a good idea. Alright, so I'm just going to roll with it, and which one is that? So I'm going to merge those layers. Alright, I'm going to save it. Magical Control S keys, something. Yay, I'm losing track of what I'm saying. I do that every now and then. Alright, so you're going to see a slight difference with this. You can always actually, whenever you create a texture map from this, you can actually blend the two together, and that'll basically give you the look that you're looking for overall. I'm not going to do that for time-saving purposes. I'm sure right now some of you are like, yay! So the next thing we need to do is actually, I guess you'd kind of say, put these two together. So under this image, I'm going to, why did I just do that? What is my problem tonight? I'm going to rotate this clockwise. This one will be rotated counterclockwise. There we go. and I need to merge these two together. Now I can rotate this counterclockwise. Man, I cannot talk today. It's like, hey Jimmie, guess what? What is that? You can't talk today. Yay! Okay, so now we need to scale this, and we need to keep this uniform. You know, we don't just want to do that. We actually need to keep this. Actually, there's not a whole lot of uniformness about this, which is awesome. So let me go ahead and go into view. I'm going to turn on snap, and let me see if it will snap for me. No, it does not. I was on a hope and a prayer. Alright, so now we need the barrels to line up. One of the easiest ways to do this is I'm actually going to click up here. What is that layer? That is the handle layer. Wow. Yeah, I'm just all sorts of off my rocker today, so that's okay. We'll just rotate this counterclockwise, and we'll just move it. This is why I have snap turned off. And we'll just kind of move it into position, thinking right about here. So I'm going to save it. And guess what? I'm going to go ahead and merge these layers too, because why not? So after we've done that, the next thing we need to do is we need this barrel to be the same length as this, just as the handle down here needs to be the same length as this. Now I can look at this and tell that it's not. So we need to create a new layer. And we're going to call this the ref layer. This is going to be strictly for reference. So what we'll do is we'll click on the paint tool, and we'll just get this little color right here, and we'll go ahead and paint it, and that's going to turn everything blue. So once we have done that, let's go ahead and tweak the opacity down right about there. And I'm going to take this tool, I'm going to move it right about here. I'll delete that section of the reference layer, and right here, just below the handle, I'll delete that. So now that we have done that, this will actually tell us that, it'll basically tell us that this is how much we need to manipulate the scaling on this side. We could actually do either one of these. It doesn't really make a difference. I'm just doing this one because why not? So there we go. Now I already know that the trigger is going to be off. That's okay. We can fart with that later. It's just basically getting this general, I guess you say this general look to it. So I'm going to, have to apply it first. So I'm going to delete the reference layer. Yes. And then I'm going to take this. Actually, let me go ahead and merge these two together. So once these are merged together, man, I'm losing focus tonight. Sleep deprivation's awesome. Okay, I'm going to do, that's too much. Did not realize that. Move this right about here and hit delete. There we go. So this way it keeps this little section up here. Now, this is not the normal way of doing a texture map. Normally what I would do is I would actually take small segments of this gun, and here I'll just show you real quickly. This would be so much easier for me to explain it. So I would take this segment right about here, and just like so, I'll hit Control-CV, and I'll move this over here. We will edit, transform, 90 degrees. And I just now started thinking that some of y'all are probably actually doing this for school, so I'm actually going to do it right. This way, no one can come back and, kick my butt later for whatever reason. So let's go ahead and create an actual texture map. This is what, like, if you're working for a company, this is what they would kind of expect. So, or if you're doing this for a school project. So let's go ahead and start working on a real texture map. Crap, line up. Do I have snap turned off? Yes, I do. Okay, so that's awesome. So we're just going to, I see 15. I'm going to make the size probably 48. So we're going to make a real texture map here, and this will be like production quality. this is what you'd see in a video game, because if I'm going to show y'all a tutorial, I want to make sure that y'all are getting the best tutorial that you can possibly get. So I'm just going to go all out on this. Okay, right about there. I'm going to do the same thing. Oh. There we go. And so I'm going to select all of these, duplicate layers. Now this will be strictly for the barrel of the gun. So I'm like, you don't have to make it this long. Probably what I had earlier would be more than sufficient. There we go. Let me go ahead and fit all this on screen. You can use either one of these. No, you can't, because this one actually has writing on it. So we're going to click on this layer. Let me go ahead and take all of these and merge these together. Merge layers. We're going to call this the barrel. That'd be the right side. Right side. And then for this one, we're going to select this barrel. We're going to just select the whole barrel, and I'll explain why here in just a second. Control C, Control V. So we're going to take this and we will edit, transform. We will rotate this one clockwise. I think it's clockwise. Nope, it was counterclockwise. So what we'll do is, man, what is my computer's deal? We're going to, we'll just rotate 180. Okay, there we go. This way we have these words on it. Now, if you don't want these words on here, you don't have to. This is just a warning label, so I don't really care about that. Fit on screen. But what I do care about is the Ruger right here and the Ruger Super Red Hawk. Now, I'm just going to use this one over here for both sides. I kind of like the way the metal looks on this one a lot more than this one. The only thing you're going to run into is when you try to create this as a texture map, something to be aware of is that you're going to have this black stripe no matter what. And the two ways you can get rid of that in Unity, whenever you create a material, you can basically change the shader material that is applied to it. And that's probably what I'm going to end up doing after I have exported this. So for this one, I believe it was clockwise. Was it clockwise? It was clockwise. So I'm going to move this right about here. And then we're going to grab the cylinder. I'm going to use this cylinder because, you know, why not? Well, no, I think I'm going to let's try it, folks. You can use either one cylinder. I'm going to use this one because it doesn't have as much black surface in it. And I'm really trying to stay away from that. I love it when Photoshop does that. So we'll move this, edit, transform again, which again was just whichever last action it was that you had applied to it. For this one, I'm basically just going to grab from here to here. Let me try this again. I'm going to grab from here to here, and instead of just doing copy-paste, you can do either one. I'm just going to grab it and move it out of the way and just cut it out of there. So, I forgot. My bad. Let's go ahead and rotate that 180 degrees. There we go. Now we got the endpoint thingy right there, whatever you want to call that. I honestly have no idea what to call that. So we'll select our layer again, deselect that. Our layer is selected, so I'm going to select this down here, and we'll move that up. This is why sometimes I will do the copy and paste, because sometimes I run into that issue, and I'm not going to lie, it kind of drives me crazy. So, because it's from this side, this will be a clockwise. So, actually, I think, no, that doesn't fit down there, but it fits right here. Right about there. Here we go. And now I want to grab this. This one does not need to be rotated, so we're good. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to rotate it. It's going to go right here. I think that'd be just epic. That's going to be counterclockwise. So then we can set that there. Now we need the handle. Now the handle, you can do this, you can either grab the whole handle or you can just grab part of it. The only thing is with this, you will need to grab both handles because this one has a thumb indentation and this one does not, which is kind of why I did it like that to begin with. Actually, I can grab this down here. Let me just move that right here. This way we have part of the scope. And then I'll grab this section. Actually, I'm just going to grab the whole section and do it that way, because why not? And then this one will be rotated. It doesn't matter which way. You can do either clockwise or counterclockwise. It doesn't really make a hoot. And now we'll go ahead and grab the handle. So I'm just going to grab it right down here. I'm going to move this out over here. And then for this one, I'm going to do the same thing. And the reason for me doing this is this way I can off-click that, grab this. We have the plus selected. So I'm just going to grab the white areas. Like so. Hit delete, and we still have white. Why do we have white? There we go. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing down here. Just grab all of that whiteness. Let's see what's left. Smooth, Jimmie. And now. Delete that, okay, and then we'll come in here, we'll delete this little extra crap because we don't need it. We'll delete that. This little section, we'll delete that. And this little section. Now we don't really need this part. The reason why I'm including it because it has this little indentation right here, and this side has a screw. And granted, come on, Jimmie. Granted, it's not something that you're really going to need, but it is nice to have that little extra detail. One thing I think I am going to do is... Okay, so the air point and that... I'm going to do something. I just don't know what. Nobody knows what I'm going to do. Let me turn that off, and then I'm going to grab these over here. And Control-CV, and I can turn those off, turn those back on, and I can move these out of the way. So I got whiteness. Okay. Alright, so same thing right here. I'm just going to grab all this white and remove it. I'm going to turn these layers off so I can actually see what I'm doing. Delete. There we go. And then I'll come in here and do the same thing. I'm going to delete and then delete. Grab right about there. Okay, there we go. Now I can turn all these back on and... Now why did that go way up here? Am I missing something? Pretty sure this was down right about there. So, once I've done that, now I got this baseline right here. I can go ahead and move these. I'm just going to move them individually. I can go ahead and move these. Move this one in right about here. And then this one. Going to grab all this crap. Really? Why did it do... Oh, because I don't have it selected. That's why. So let me select this. And then I'll come in here and do that. There we go. And then I'll just simply, no. I love it when Photoshop does this. So I'm just going to crank this up. And I'm just going to get rid of this extra crap that is really not even needed. Okay, there we go. Now I can move this one over like so. Like a glove. Okay. And sweet. So I'm just going to go ahead and merge all these together. Merge layers. And then I'm going to select all of this that is in this layer. So let's just select like that. Now this should select just the object file right here, and it does. Then we'll hold down Control, press C. Now let's go ahead and create a new document. Any day now. Create, and Control V. There we go. And this is still not quite what I'm looking for, but that is okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, and we're going to hit Control C. Now that we've got that done, we can go into Image, and we go into Canvas Size. So yeah, this is still really, really big. This is going to be about 16, and this one's probably going to be about 10. Okay. Nope, we are clipping now. So let's see where we're clipping at. 17. Why are we clipping? That is the interesting question of the day. So I'm just going to select all this, Control C. We'll go into a new document. Let's try this again. Let's see, that all looks correct. There we go, it did it that time. So there we go. We have a baseline texture map, and I have no idea what the size is. Image size, it is still just epically massive. This is like borderline 4K. So we'll have to tweak that a little bit later on, or you can leave it. It doesn't really matter. We're going to leave it. Screw it. Why not? So for here, let's go ahead and create a bump map. In order to do that, just click on Hue and Saturation, go all the way down so everything looks this grayish color. And then under Levels, we're just going to grab this tab up here, this little triangle, and we're just going to move this about like that, and then move this one down. Probably right about there. So now is what I'll do is I'll go into File, Save As, and this is going to be Save as Type PNG, and the file name will be Ruger. Do I have... Okay, yeah, we got Ruger Super Red Hawk. You can change that up, exact same principle as I did with the cell phone. If you didn't see the cell phone, please go watch it, at least up till you get to the texturing part, because this will show you how that I changed the name from Samsung to Samsam. Yay! So this is Ruger texture bump. Save. Okie dokie. And we're going to turn these two off. File. Save as. Because it's still saving. There we go. File. Save as. It's going to be PNG. I cannot type. Talk, blah. Diffuse. There we go. So the diffuse layer is going to be your color. The bump layer is going to actually be the bump mapping. So while that's saving, let's go ahead and go back in here to Maya. And I'm just going to select everything. We'll go up here to Rendering, and we're going to apply a Lambert shader to it. Now, the Lambert shader, the reason why, because this is just going to give me a good reference on the way it looks. This is not going to be the texture map that is like what you're going to be using inside of Unity or Unreal or whatever. They actually have their own shaders that you can use. So one thing I did not do is I did not delete any of the history, so we're going to do that now. We'll go up to Edit, Delete by Type, or Delete All by Type, History, Edit, Delete All by Type, and we're going to click on Non-Deformer History, just to make sure. Afterwards, we'll select everything, and under Poly Modeling, we're going to click Center Pivot, Freeze Transformations. If you do not have these on here, it's actually going to be under Modify, and you'll click on to Freeze Transformations, which is right here. And then for the Center Pivot, it's still under the Modify tab, and it's right here where it's the fifth one down, which is Center Pivot. The reason for that is this way when we select everything, as you can see, no matter what we select, it's going to be centered on everything. These two do not matter, so we can get rid of those. And I'm actually going to select everything. I'm going to hold down Control and press G. That basically groups everything together. So now all I have to do is click on that, and the whole gun is selected, or the whole object is selected. So to do that, if your keyboard's messed up or whatever, I believe it's under Edit somewhere. Yeah. It's under Edit, it's the fifth one from the bottom. It's just called Group. So, let's see where I leave off. Oh, texturing, yes. So you can either come in here and click on Line 2, or if you click on Windows and go down to Rendering Editors, you can open up Hypershade. That window is really big. That's what she said. Okay, so under Line 2, we're just going to click it right here. And under Color, we get to click on File. We'll open up the file, which is under Tutorial, and it is under the Diffuse. We'll hit Open, and then we'll back out of that, and you can turn on the texturing. You can see how beautiful that looks. I mean, flawless. No one even knows that that is a 3D model. Okay, I'll shut up. So under Bump Mapping, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to click on File, and we're going to change the bump value to 0.05. And this is going to be the closest representation that we'll get. And right next to it, there'll be File 2. And then right here under the folder, we're going to click on Bump. Alright, there we go. Yeah, it's got some pretty good bumpiness to it. Something. Okay. So I'm going to be looking at this photo back here for my reference. We're going to, once we have an object selected, we'll click on this window right here, which is the UV editor. Once again, if you do not have this, I believe it's under UV, and you'll go down to UV editor, and it'll bring up this window. It may not bring up the UV toolkit depending on which version of Maya you're using, but in Maya 2018 it does. So as you can see, we got this weird deformed shape, and the reason why that is because we have not created any kind of mapping to it. So I'm going to create a UV map projected from the x-axis, and this is under UV Planar. We'll click on the box tab, and we'll project from the x-axis. I'm just going to hit Apply, and under the UV texture editor, now we get this interesting shape. So this is very close to what we're looking for, and this is actually the scope. In fact, I'll just show you this real quickly. If we scale it down, now you can see the actual scope shape. So, this is going to be right about here. I'm going to scale this in just a little bit more. There we go. See where this looks like. Wait a minute, is that there? No, this is on the other side. Wait. Is it on the other side? See, now I don't even know. Yeah, those are the videos that I create and I put in my computer, if you're wondering. Desktop. We're going to go into the tutorial right here, and we grab this from one of the sides. Definitely not that one. So that's the one that we're modeling from. And this is the one that we have it on. Okay, that is interesting. So, the texture map that we're using, it doesn't actually have that on there. The easiest thing to do is and this is what I'm going to do because I did not realize this until now. I'm just going to delete these. Two reasons. One, it'll save us 224 triangles. And two, we get to look at this now. Aimpoint 3000. And this one's backwards, but you know what? Who cares? Okay, so we got the Aimpoint 3000. 3,000, man. It's over 3,000. And then is one going to do... Don't tell me mine is messing up again. No, okay. So I'm going to select these faces. And just like before, we're going to hit the... You can either click on the planar mapping tab right here, or you can go down to UV and just simply click on planar. The reason why you don't have to go into the checkbox because it's just going to go back off of what the option settings are set to. So once you've done that, we can go ahead and scale this down. And this one right here, now we obviously don't want this up here, so I'm going to go into face. No, I'm sorry, UV. UV is what I'm going to go into. Oh, you suck. Let me see if I can click it from here. Click it or tick it. That looks like it's going to be a major pain in the ass, so I'm actually going to go in here. I'm going to just grab these faces. I'm going to grab these faces, and then these faces, and see what we got. Yep, see? Don't want any of this extra crap on here. But anytime you're modeling, you can always, trying to think what it's called. You can always separate the faces out. I'm just electing not to because that's how I roll. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I'm just going to do another projection like that. And you can actually cut the UVs. You don't have to like say, well, this is the way the whiteboard taught me. You don't have to do that. The reason why, because so like we got these two parts of the scope, we got this part back here, and as you can see, if you click on that twice, it selects everything. However, it doesn't do that on a UV texture map. And the reason why it doesn't, because of the fact that it's only selecting those UVs. And so like I can move this into position, move it right about there, something like that. And I'm just going to do the same thing with this one, and like that. Oops, that's actually clipping a little bit. There we go. So obviously this part's black. All we're going to do is we're going to select those parts like so. All the black parts. All of the black parts. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to do a planar map projection. So now we got all those selected, and we're going to move this one here. We're going to move this one here. And this one's going to be moved here. And we will rotate like so. It doesn't have to be exactly 90 degrees. It just has to be kind of close. This one will go here in the middle. Rotate like that. Scale this down, scale this in, and we'll take a look at it. Control S. You can see I'm very religious about that. Now you will get this look sometimes, and you'll also get this. We can fix that by creating another projection map from the Z-axis right down here. There's actually quite a few ways we can fix it, but in fact I'll go ahead and show you how to do that real quickly. This way you can kind of get an idea. So I'm just going to select these faces to keep this uniform, because I know you saw this earlier, how this is kind of stretched up here. We can actually create a cylindrical map, and we'll rotate it 90 degrees, and then we'll create a full wrap like that. I'm just going to do it with this one. This way you can get an idea on how this is done. So I'll go in here, and I'm going to scale it down. Oops! And then once I've scaled this down like so, I'm going to move it right here. And so now this fixes the first part. As you can see, this is nice and smooth. Yeah, we got this, but there's several ways you can fix that, and you can fix that actually really easy. And then we're going to face. I'm going to do the same thing. It's just this time, once you have all of these selected, is what you'll do is you'll shift select, and this way you'll select these faces. And from here you can go into project from the Z, apply, and then under UV, just simply, you can either put it as part of the same map, or if you have an actual lens that you're using for a texture map, you can use that. Either one of those is fine. So that's how you can easily fix that. There's actually a lot of different things that you can do. It's not all like, it's not going to be all set to one thing. It's like, you know, a rule book that says this is what you have to do. No, you don't. So let's go into UV. Now, as you can see, this is flat, but it looks kind of crooked. In fact, if I go into the side view here, I'm going to turn off X-ray mode. I'm going to turn on the texturing. So this is what we're getting right now, and yeah, it looks decent, but I mean, come on, dude. We're trying to do this for school, so I'm going to select that, and we're going to move that back. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to deselect those. I'm going to move this just a little bit. Each one of these I'm moving. I'm just moving it a little bit as I'm moving these out. No reason why, because I don't want to distort the crap out of the A. And then up here, let's see, first of all, I need to click on Edge. I'm going to scale this down. I'm actually going to make all of these uniform. There we go. Those are now all uniform. And under UVs, now we can just select these and bring them on down. Those won't matter too much. Actually, they probably won't even matter at all. So that's why I'm not too terribly worried about these, because, oh, come on. There we go. So, I mean, you're going to run into this issue. Not a big deal. The biggest thing that I'm more concerned about is how this has like this slant to it. So now we get to fix the slant, and basically all we have to do is just grab these UVs like so, and bring these down. Bring these up just a little bit. You don't want to move them too much. And we're going to do the same thing with the number down here. We're just going to grab these, and we're going to bring them up where this kind of matches right about there. And for these, we're going to bring these down probably right about here. You don't want to bring them down too far, because as you can see, we're going to have clipping. So now that is where it needs to be. So the next thing we need to do is we need to work on these right here, and if I can select the right viewport. So the two ways I'm going to do this is I'm actually going to create a, actually I'm just going to cheat. We're just going to click on automatic mapping, and this will kind of break everything down for me, I think. No, it will not. So let's just click on automatic mapping. Planar mapping? Okay, so planar mapping works, but automatic mapping does not. Huh. I love it when Maya messes up, because then y'all are probably thinking, we still don't know what he's talking about. Oh, because I was clicking on the wrong one. Wow, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. Thanks, YouTube, for pointing that out. Okay, so once you have your object selected, we're going to click on this one with the 3 box. This is automatic mapping. And then we get these planar maps like this. So under the, not the UV toolkit, under the UV editor right here, this are all the different sections of what we're working with. So I'm going to take these, I'm going to move them out of the way. These are actually part of the same thing, so I'm not going to really work a whole lot on trying to line those up. I'm just going to get them close. Same thing with these. I'm not even going to line these up. I'm just going to grab them as is. Okay. Really? those over here, and then I'm going to combine those back to here. I'm actually going to move these completely separate because I don't know what part these are to yet. We'll figure it out together, YouTube, and we will do it valiantly. So I'm going to move that up here. Finally, now we can start lining everything up. And the reason why I wasn't really too concerned about it because I just try to get everything out of the way. So as you can see, I'm still not like, oh, this has to be exact. No, it doesn't. It's just got to be close. Now I'm going to select everything at once. Now I need to figure out what part this is to. So this is to the top part. I'm just doing awesome clicking on the wrong tabs. So with this being on the top part, this metal surface is the same as this, so guess what? We can actually take this and rotate it about 90 degrees, and we can move it here, and we're going to scale down right about here, and we're going to scale in. Move this back just a little bit, and scale in just a hair more. There we go. And then we need to select these. These are the top parts, it looks like. Yeah. So these are the top parts, the flat parts. And we can actually do the same thing right here. Actually, I think I'm going to do it with this one, just so everything looks more uniform. So the top of this here actually has to kind of match with what we have over here, and the way to do that is to grab these, and I'm just going to kind of like move them in like that, and then these are going to be the same way where it's like that, and move those right about there. So now when we look at this, this is why they need a match. So what we can do, there we go. So what we can do, trying to think about this, the easiest way to do it. I'm just going to move this down, scale this in, close enough, scale it out. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time doing this. I think y'all kind of get the gist of it. If you wanted to make it like really easy, this would probably be the easiest way. Just drag these up to the barrel, and as you can see, that's already lining up. That's kind of lining up. And you can just select those UVs and just move them into position, and you can do the same thing right here and just move that into position, and this other side should line up, and it does. So I think that's what we're going to do instead of matching it up with the real cylinder. If I would have made my own metal texture like this part right here, this would look just immensely better. But for time-saving sake, I'm not going to. And yeah, you get the idea. So I'm going to select these right here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to rotate them, and these have to line up as well, which you'll see how well they line up here in just a minute. Move over here. Let's see, we need to move this about there. We'll scale it just a hair. Let's move it up to about there. I'm going to roll with it. Do the same thing for these. Move them over, move them around, scale them down, zoom in. Okay, there we go. So now we got this texture map. Really that one doesn't quite line up, but I mean, it's easy to fix. Oh, this is actually a perfect opportunity. So you can see how this does not match up. That side does, but this side doesn't. So all we're going to do, I don't know why I just did that, we're just going to click on these UVs, and all we're going to do is rotate. And then we'll move them into position like so. Easy. Easy every time. And of course you can grab this one, UV, and you can just grab that one, and you can do the exact same thing, just kind of like moving it into position like that, and that'll fix the issues you may have with it. I do not know why I keep doing that. I keep clicking on the wrong thing. It's like, what is wrong with you, Jimmie? I have no idea. Okay, so now we got these. Let's see, what is this? Okay, these are the tops and bottoms. These I actually probably will go ahead and use the metal surface that I have for the texture map. The only thing is I'm going to make sure that these are lined up. They don't have to be exact, it just has to be close. And then we'll select all of these, we'll move these into position. The only thing that does have to match is that, you can't have this bigger than that. They have to actually be pretty close to the same size. And this time I will go to the wheel cylinder. You can actually go to any of these metal surfaces that you want. I'm just choosing this because why not? And I may actually have to go to a more flat surface because this one actually has like a shiny, color. And here's why I might have to go to a flat surface, because now we get this look. But either way, you get the idea. Barrel, this one's going to be really, really difficult. So we're going to create a planar mapping, UV, planar, and we're going to move from the x-axis, project, object mode. I don't know why I just did object mode. It's not really like necessary or anything, but whatever. So we're going to move this to the center of this barrel texture. Move it right about there, and we'll scale that in. We're actually going to scale this up. There we go. And we'll tweak that just a little bit more. Right about there. So now we have this look to it. On the inside of the barrel, you can actually, you can separate these faces if you want and just give it like a black texture. That's completely up to you. I'm electing not to do that. So we'll click on that. This is where having the whole gun would be useful, because then we could just take the thing right here, these faces, and just move it over the image itself. But we're not going to do that. Instead, we're actually going to take just segments of this. So like the red Super Hawk is going to be selected here, and I'm going to create a planar mapping of that, go back in here, and we will move this right here. I'm going to scale it down, about there, scale it in about here. Let's see what we get. Good mess. And actually I screwed up. Okay, there we go. So now we will select those, and we're going to do this again. The reason why I had to redo that, because other than the fact that I screwed up, no need to remind me. So this part up here is actually part of this top piece right here. That's why I went back in here and changed that up. Move that down. These right here, we're actually going to move these in. About right there. There we go. So now that doesn't look half bad. These right here, we're going to grab these faces. We're going to grab these faces. And we're going to create a planar mapping of them. And so then we'll go in here, and we need to find a metal surface. Actually, we'll just use this metal surface. Right about here. Scale this down right about here. So, do we have UV? I'm going to move these up. Move these up right about there. There we go. Object mode. This one's going to be cylindrical mapping, and then we rotate it 90 degrees. And then right here we need to do a complete wrap. Now this is going to be the hard part, because of the fact that when we created this map earlier, as you can see, this only has one little indentation. So what we're going to do, I'm not worried about these faces right here right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab these faces, and we're going to, man, I cannot think today. So we're going to grab this, and under cut and sew, we're going to cut. And then we're going to redo that action. We're just going to do this all the way down in between these points. And then right here. So right down here, face. These right here will actually come up. These are going to attach to here. There we go. So now under this, we'll just move these down. We'll Control Shift and select. Control Shift select. And Control Shift select. Control Shift select. And we'll do it one more time. There we go. We'll hit Control Shift select, and this time we're going to deselect these faces down here, so this way these are the only things that are selected. I know you see these weird things right here. I'm not worried about that, and you'll see why here in just a little bit. So now we need this line right here to go right through the middle, and it looks like it is. We need to do something. I just don't know what, but we need to do something sculpting. Oh. I need to rotate it, because I had it rotated wrong. And now we got that right about here. We'll scale this in. Scale this in just a little bit more. Go into UV. Select all these, and we're just going to pull them back just a little bit. So now we get this. And that really doesn't look half bad. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, well, what about the other faces? Yes, what about the other faces? They are definitely still here. Don't worry, they have not gone anywhere. So we're going to select just those faces. Ooh. Ew. Now, ain't that an interesting thing that's going on? So we'll select the whole, all the faces on the wheel cylinder, hold down Shift, and we'll select everything again, and this will select just the outside faces. Now for this, we're going to do a projection map from the Z-axis. So we need to pull up planar mapping, and we'll do Z-axis project. So normally I would already have, like, I'd have the different texture maps done for this. This is one of the maps I did not create, so I'm just going to move this off to the side. And we can do that later or not, whatever, but basically all you would need is, if you remember from the previous video, I got this texture map right here. You could use this for both sides, or you can use it for just one side, but that's basically all I would do, is I would just use this cylinder and I'd make it look where it was spherical. If you want me to go into another tutorial on doing that, just leave a comment down there, subscribe to me, and I'll make a video of it, you know, shortly after this tutorial series, and this way you can see the more advanced techniques of creating a texture map. So where were we down here? This is where we were. That's right. I don't even know what this is. What is this? Oh, that's the centerpiece. Well, we're not going to see that because of how far away it is, so you know what? I don't feel like doing that extra crap. But what I do feel like doing is doing this section down here. So let's see if we can find some metal. we got some metal. You can use this one or you can use this one. Either one is perfectly fine. So we'll start with this, and I'm just going to create a series of planar maps. X, apply, and then we're just going to, I'm going to use this one down here. I don't know, something about the way that metal looks. It just looks so beautiful. There we go. Let's see how it looks down here. Probably going to have to make a separate metal texture. Not 100% sure on that. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think we should go ahead and make another metal texture? I mean, yeah, we got all this extra crap that's going on already, and I'm really just trying to show you the basis, but at the same time, I don't want y'all to be upset with me and be like, hey, this is what the white boy showed us, and I mean, he can't model, he can model really good, but he can't do a texture map to save his life. And, you know, I probably agree with you on that, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel quite right. It's like, almost like, I don't know. So many different things I just want to say, but I'm not sure what's really considered appropriate and not appropriate, so I just don't want to say them, and yeah. There we go. Okie dokie. So I'm going to go ahead and do the handle. The handle's going to be easy. The handle's going to be nothing at all. All we're doing for the handle is, you know, I actually forgot to separate those faces. So I'm going to go into face. We're going to get that as close as we can. We're going to deselect these and deselect these. I'm talking softly like this because sometimes I wish I was Russian. In Russia, you know, create UV texture map on computer, UV texture map create on wall. Okay, there we go. So now I got both of these created, and ooh, okay. Now I get to show you how to rotate. Let's see, we'll move that. Oh, come on. Move that right about here. UV. Let's see what we got. Does not look half bad. I'm going to work with this a little bit more, but for the most part, that does not look half bad. So we'll grab that. We're going to move this down. Actually, I'm also going to rotate this just a little bit. Move that down to about there. See, got some lightness, got some clipping. Move that about like that. Let's see how much it deformed it. Actually didn't deform it that much. That's actually rather surprising because sometimes when you do that, like, it just goes all sorts of different directions. That, however, does not look half bad. Get this out to about there. Okay, I can live with that. I can live with that. Okay, so for this side, you're probably wondering, what about this? Well, under UV, poly projection 16, because this was the second one that I did, we actually need to make it like a negative value. So I'm just going to go in here. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, we're going to keep this window open right here. Let's change this to a 1. It's going to be one of these. I just don't know which one it's going to be. No, it's not going to be any of those. So that's image scale. Maybe under the projection width, we cannot make that. So this is the fun part with mine. I was trying to figure out how to get this. Actually, if I change these to positive values and change this one to a negative value, what does that give us? That gives us diddly squat. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this and I'm just going to reverse scale it like that. Or is it, there is a value over here that you can click on. I honestly have no idea what it is. And it's been so long since I've had to do this that it's just kind of like, well, what is it? But realistically, it's the, wow, see, even that didn't work. Yay. So, let me try and think of the best and easiest way to do this without pissing y'all off and having y'all lose faith in me, because, you know, that just hurts my feelings. Yeah. So, scale this up. I'm going to grab all of these, and I'm just going to move them like that. Actually, not yet. I need to move this out to the side so I can see exactly what I'm doing. There is a way to flip this around. One of the downsides about being sleep deprivated like I am at the moment is you can't think real clearly. And so I'm just going to move these over here. And then I'm going to select these on the outside. Like that. Move these like that. This one needs to go in the center. And then this one needs to come here. Not exactly what we're working with, but you get the idea. Let's see how deformed it looks. Oh, that's perfect. You can't even tell. Okay, so let's finish up on the handle, and then I'm probably going to, I might make another part here in a little bit. I honestly have no idea. I'm pretty tired, you guys. Hopefully y'all don't hate me. So, this is where we get to just manipulate the crap out of it. As you can see, that's what I'm doing. And this also gives me a perfect opportunity to talk about if you're having to run into this issue, like you have to do it this way because you can't remember where the scale tool is. Like, you're going to get this deforming right here. And I'll show you how to keep all this uniform. For now, you guys, I will be right back. Okay, so, where we run into this little deforming, completely forgot what I was saying. Oh, yes, that's right. I remember now. So, is what I'll do is I'll actually manipulate these one at a time, and the end result, this is actually going to look smooth. Move that out of the way. Okay, so no, that one's attached to there. And this one is going to be here. And this one's going to be here. There we go. So I know it doesn't look very smooth right now. It will. It'll actually look very smooth in the long run. Now this part of the handle right here, these actually kind of come in here. So I'm actually going to keep these just a little outside of the wooden texture right here. And we'll manipulate these more later on. But the biggest thing is just to try to keep these as straight as possible. And the reason for that, because you can see how these kind of curve off, well, you're going to run into this right here. So this is what I'm actually trying to prevent right now. If I can open the right window. Let's see. This needs to be down here. This will need to be down here. And now we just start taking these and we're just following all the way around, like so. I don't know why I just did that. And by the way, if there's something that you want to see me model, just throw it down there in the comments. I promise you I check these comments daily. Anytime I'm notified of anything, I'm like, whoa, what's going on? So I'll check it out, and like if it's an alien or something that you want me to model, just let me know and I'll make a tutorial on that. I could use the practice, y'all could use a good laugh and watch me make these little errors and be like, this guy's an idiot. And yeah, it's cool. So, yeah, just throw those down in the comments if you like, and yeah, I'll see if I can make some of y'all happy at least. Okay, so now for this part right here, we've kind of gotten that. We're going to see what these two UVs are. These are probably like the very top two. Yeah, so these are going to be the very top two right in here. But now when we select these, we need to see where these are located. So we don't need that side. So these are the top two as well. So this one's going to go here. This one's going to go here. And these two are going to go up here, like so. So now, we turn off that, and there we go. Does not look half bad. Now, we got this down here, so I'm going to grab these two UVs, and when we go down here, we can see that these are way up here. So now I just follow these curves, and you can do this one of two ways. You can either just start moving these down. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to move this one way down here because I already know where these two are located. And then for down here, we'll just start... come on. Start going down like that. For these, I'm actually going to move these out. The only reason why I'm doing that is because I'm trying to give myself as much room down here as possible. There we go. And then these two will be brought right about here. Now we're going to get some distortedness from this. I'm not too terribly worried about it, to be honest with you, because there's several ways we can fix this, and I'll show you a couple of those ways here in just a minute. Keep these about even. This is where we're actually fixing the distorted look to it, just by moving this one down. So move that there, move this here. Yeah, this is also going to be one of the very, very few times you will see me actually moving these individually. I do mean one of the very, very few times. Then we keep these right here outside. It's like this one will actually have to go back here. So this is the distortedness that I was telling you about that we'll have to keep an eye on. I do not know why I keep, that window can just die and go away. Alright, so this is why we're running into this, is because of this little section down here. Basically, is what Maya's doing is it's looking at these two lines, and it's seeing the distortedness in there. And so that's what we're getting, is that right there. By me moving, by me moving this over, you can see that it kind of changes the way it looks. So, basically I just want to move this down to about here. I want to move this one down to about here. So you'll have that little distortedness down there. There are more ways that we can fix that. I'm just getting really tired, so. Next. So I'm going to do this, my part of this section. So I'm just going to cheat face. Select that right there. Yeah, you don't know what I'm doing. Scale this down, scale this in. There's other ways we can do this. I can actually create my own metal texture if I wanted to. And I mean, that's what I would recommend doing. I think y'all get the gist, or the gist. But I think y'all get the gist of what I'm doing. So, I mean, you could create your own metal texture. That's honestly what I would end up doing if I was actually making this for my boss or something like that. Like here inside Photoshop is what I would do is I would select the main layer down here, and I would just take this section, well not that section, because we have this line that goes through it, but I'd take this section right here, Control CV, and I'd actually create my own little metal texture down here, and then I would just duplicate the crap out of this layer, and then I would just start moving it like this, and just start working my way over. Same way I've been doing the rest of the stuff, like the barrel up here. Not really worried about that. Is what I do want to do to finish up this tutorial series though, is I'm going to go ahead and delete this image back here. I'm going to save this scene. We'll select the group, and this will select everything. We'll go to File, and we'll go to Send to Unity, Selection. And for Unity, I'm going to go ahead and open up Unity real quick. I say real quick, this is actually why I always have everything open whenever y'all start this tutorial series, because of this crap right here. So I'm going to create a new project, and I'm just going to call this one, oh come on, tutorial. I'm sure y'all are looking at that just laughing your ass off right now. Tutorial, there we go. And I'm just going to keep everything default, and we'll go ahead and hit create project. Exist allocation, okay, tutorial YouTube. There, leave me alone. Okay, there we go. Unity Package Manager is doing all this fun stuff right now. It's getting ready to load, so then what we'll do is we'll go into documents and we'll sit here in just a little bit. Tutorial YouTube, here we go. Under assets, I'm going to create a new folder, and this is going to be called 3D OB. Rename tutorial OBJ. Or actually, this is going to be an FBX file, so that's what we'll do. Is inside this folder, we'll just hit select, and then another folder will pop up, and this will be called Revolve. Okay, so this is an export to the Revolver. It is still loading. It is importing. It is probably pissed off at me. So while this is, actually it looks like it's done. So under this tutorial folder, we'll actually need to take these two and put them inside of the Unity Cane engine itself. So under 3D FBX, if it would ever load. There we go. Assets, Revolver, and I'm going to, no longer like right here or another folder I'd create. I'm just going to go ahead and do it, screw it. Materials. This will keep everything nice and clean. So we have the Ruger Texture Diffuse and the Ruger Texture Bump Map, and we're going to drag and drop those right there. That is a ridiculous file size. So now when you go into Create, go into Material, and this will be called revolver mat. And we'll take the diffuse texture. We need to make sure the material is selected, and you'll click and drag up here to underneath the main map, the albedo map. And then for the bump map, we're going to the normal map. It'll say this texture is not marked as a normal map. We'll fix it now. Okay, there we go. So under assets, whenever you do a standard export, I usually scale it up by 10, then just hit apply. And what we can go ahead and do is move this into the scene. We'll press F to something to frame in. And now we just have to start adding this material to all the different sections, all the different parts of the gun. Which we never did the trigger. I don't really care. There we go. As I've said before, I'm just doing this as a good reference tutorial. So that's all the purpose of this. Once again, if I was doing this for a main project, something that I wanted to actually sell, I'd spend a lot more time on this. In fact, after these tutorials, I'll probably go back and actually fix this, so this way it's more presentable. Okay, so the texture that we have for the gun, I kind of like that look, but the wood texture is a little much. And so one thing you can do is you can move down the smoothness to right about there. That looks good. And we're actually going to Control D. We will duplicate this, and we will use. Actually, for this, I'm going to move that right about there. And I'm going to apply this texture to the handle. And this one we can actually, so we can crank this way up and give it that nice little, a nice wood look. We're going to give it a little bit of metallic, not too much. For this one, I'm just going to give it a little bit of metallicness, or a decent amount of metallic, I mean. We'll give it about there on the smoothness. So now, that's what you have for the barrel. It's got the nice reflections. So, yeah. This pretty much sums it up on basically the ideas of UV texture mapping. And if I end up going back in and actually creating a UV texture map, I will create another tutorial, which will be like, I guess, a special thing, something, I don't know. But anyways, leave your comments down there. Let me know what y'all thought of this tutorial series. If you love it, if you hate it, what you'd like to see me do next. If you'd like to see me spend more time on the actual details I go into and how to make everything look like just immaculate. Hit the subscribe button, all the good things that go on with YouTube. And, I'm still new at this, so this is basically going to sum it up, as I said earlier. I don't know why I just saved it, habit. But if y'all have any questions, if y'all have any suggestions, anything like that, definitely put them down in the comment or just message me. And yeah, I hope to hear from y'all. Hope y'all have a wonderful evening, day, night, thing, whatever time it is where you're at now. Anyways, see you next time.